One of my weightlifting. It says, hold up, this meeting is being live. Okay. By staying in this meeting, you consent to being in live stream. Anyone with access to a live stream can watch or share whatever. All right. Let me click. Got it. All right.
So you ready, my brother?
On my weightlifting. It says, hold up, this meeting is being live. Okay. By staying in this meeting, you consent to being live stream. Anyone with access to a live stream can watch or share whatever. All right. Let me click. Got it. All right.
So you ready, my brother?
On my live. Okay.
Yeah.
By staying in this meeting, you consent to being live stream. Anyone with access to a live stream can watch or share. So that's my voice.
Yeah, I had to mute it. All right. Welcome everyone to a live interview on the Philly Old Head Review. Today, our special guest, his name is Mr. Mark Robinson, affectionately known as Wiz. And today, he's going to tell us his story and why he's the special guest today. So just a little background. Mr. Robinson spent a significant amount of years in state prison, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So tell us your story.
Well, I grew up in Richard Allen Project.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that know anything about Richard Allen know that it was a little different. Everything was about drugs and money. And, I did a lot of different things growing up. I did my share selling drugs, did my share sticking up. And I used to hang downtown too for those that remember the Center City Hustlers. That was a lot of my mob was in that. Right. So it was funny because when I actually got in trouble, that caused me to do 39 years and 7 months, I had actually caught myself stepping back from the game. I had shut everything down. I wasn't hanging out with nobody. It was just me and the sister I was living with and our son. So on the one hand, I took a lot of flack from some of the homies because they thought that I was teaming up with other people, because I would go down South Philly, I'd go down West Philly and go to different places. And they was like, well, where your loyalty lie? My loyalty lie with me and my family. I got a family now, that's where my loyalty lie.
Right.
But being from Richard Allen, I always had guns. You know what I mean? That was the one thing that I just kept guns. You know what I'm saying? I was like in the 4th grade bringing guns to school. So, I know it sounds idiotic now, but back then it was the right thing to do because we was gang worn and anything could pop off at any time. So everybody knew I had guns.
So I'm sure many people could figure it out, but where did you, without saying anybody's name, but where did you obtain your guns from?
Well, I had 2 connections. One connection was an old head that lived in Richard Allen. He had a connection where he would get guns from Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another connection. I had a buddy from New York. Now, my New York connection was kind of special because he would always bring me like hard to get guns. Like he the first one that let me know that it was a left-handed gun and a right-handed gun, because I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And one time he brought me this case and you open it up and it was 2 45s in there, one for the right hand, one for the left hand. So I had 2 sources. I used to get my guns from my old head, in Richard Allen, because he used to give me the best price. But like I said, if I wanted something unique, I would go to my New York source. So is that enough to give you?
Yeah, Yeah.
But listen, I don't know if I told you this before, but one, I'm not easily offended. So, if there's a question, that need to be asked, then ask it. Because I'm
But you telling your story, my brother. This is you getting your story out.
but I know I'm just saying if you got a question,
Right.
don't hesitate, to ask it. Um, because one of the reasons why I wanted to do this interview is because I want to kind of get my story out, but I also want to be able to interact with anyone who may have questions, comments, concerns, whatever the case may be. So I make sure I try to make my life an open book. Anything you want to know about me, and that's not just you, but anybody I deal with, if they want to know something about me, they should be able to come to me. They shouldn't have to hear it from someone else. So
Right.
that's why I say I'm not easily offended. You can
Mhm.
just about ask me anything. Uh, Back to my story. Like I said, I was falling back because I had a son, so I was chilling, you know. And aside from a little conflict I was having with my little buddies, I was doing good. Money was coming in. Um, I was still selling drugs. I do stick up here and there, but I wasn't hanging out. Me and my girl had an agreement that I would come home every night, and that's what I did.
Right.
So it was funny because um, I had got away with a whole lot of stuff that I used to ask myself, how did you get away with all this? Because guys was falling around me like dominoes, and I wasn't getting locked up. But I had just, well, let me backtrack. I had just did 60 days up Cornwall Heights because I got caught with a gun.
Mhm.
But I wasn't getting no big time. I wasn't getting certified like some of my homies. That's what I mean when I say I wasn't getting in trouble.
Right.
But anyway, it was a struggle because I didn't have anyone from the streets who I respected to guide me from the streets to, the right way, to the mainstream. Because all I knew was basically Richard Allen. I didn't know. I mean, I had traveled some places, Virginia, New York, but I basically knew Richard Allen. So,
You're
and then,
saying no like male figures or
right, no man,
right.
not even female. I mean, it was to the point like it was crazy because I was like, ever since I was like 12 or 13, I would come out the house and I would have people, older than me, twice as older than me. They'd be like, listen, I need such and such for my rent, or my daughter didn't come home last night. I need you to go get her. I know she's with her boyfriend. Go get her for me. Or my son acting up in school. Everybody was coming to me, but Wiz ain't had nobody to go to that he could talk to. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying?
So who did you live with? Who was you living with? Just your mom?
Well, no, I left my mom when I was like 14 because I knew how I was living, and I didn't want the police running in and out of the house, or I didn't want somebody, snatching them up because of how I was living. But I did keep a room, always kept a room at my mom's house because I would come to my mom's house each night before I went home. And I would check and make sure my sisters had everything they needed to get to school. I checked their homework, make sure my brother, he had clean clothes, he was supposed to do what he was supposed to do. Because I didn't want him in the street.
So
So
who was you staying with at Richard Allen?
I was staying with my girl.
Okay. All right.
But I would go back and forth to my mom's house. But I had that house, I had that apartment, I mean, since I was like 14.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So uh so like I said, I was chilling, but like I said, everybody knew I had guns. So one day, some guys from the neighborhood, they came to me, they was like, listen, we need a gun. We got some guaranteed money. We'll pull a stick up, bring your gun right back. So at first I was like, man, get out of here, man. Cause mind you, I'm trying to get out of the stick up game.
Right.
You know? So they like, no, you don't gotta get down. Just give us the gun. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. I gave him the gun. Now, I walked halfway down there to see where was this place they was talking about, where this money was at.
Right.
I looked at the place, it wasn't no money to me. It was a grocery store, right? So how much you gonna get from a grocery store?
Mom and pop, John.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, no, it ain't, I'm cool. So I starts walking away. I'm like, listen, bring me my gun back. I'm out of here. I get to walking away. I hear a shot. Turn around, they running towards me. I'm like, yo, what happened? I don't know if somebody in the store shot at them or, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened. I just heard the shot. I'm like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the guys said, I don't want to mention his name because I don't know what role he played in terms of the parole board, what he told them or whatever, whatever.
Right.
I don't want to get him in, you know. But they was like, such and such, you know, he shot the lady that owned the store. I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah. I'm like, well, where my gun at? Cause now in my mind, I want my gun so I could dispose of it because it got a body on it now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't know where my gun is at. So I'm like, all right, I'm done with y'all dudes, man. You know, just stay away from me. I ain't got no rap. That was that. Next thing I know, the police was looking for me for homicide. So I'm like, well, how y'all looking for me for homicide? I ain't pull no trigger. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they, again, when I told you I didn't want the police running through my mom's house, boom, they go to my mom's house because they can't find me. They don't know where I'm living. They don't know my address.
Right.
Go to my mom's house. And they tell my mom, listen, you know who Wiz is, you know he been doing this and doing that. We just want to talk to him. If he don't come in, we gonna lock his brother up. Because they knew my brother was just going to school, he wasn't doing nothing. So I go down to the police station and talk to them. As soon as I come in, they like this. You going away for a long time. We've been trying to catch up with you for a minute. We gonna put you on death row. Now, mind you, my mind ain't processing none of this because I ain't pull no trigger. What you
Right.
mean, death row? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, lock me up, don't give me no bail. And sure enough, went for the death penalty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So eventually I go to trial, get found guilty. They sentence me to life. Now, keep in mind at the time, I don't understand that I got a victim. I don't understand that that the victim got surviving family members. All I know is I'm in jail for murder, which in my mind I didn't commit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I did my time mad. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a, you know, it don't take much for me to explode. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my time was hard. I mean, I wound up doing 10 years in solitary confinement because I was angry. So anytime something didn't go my way, I went in.
So were you the only person on that case?
No, it was five, four other dudes.
Right.
Again, now I don't know all of this at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't, I think I saw two dudes that talked to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, hold up. Hold up. Maybe it just was four of us. Hold up, give me a second. Oh, yeah, right. The one that came up with the idea to do the robbery,
Right.
he turned state evidence and testifies on all of us.
Right.
No, he testified on me and another guy.
Right.
The fourth guy took off. They didn't catch him until later on. When they finally caught up with him, it was years later, and I think he got like a third degree or something. So three of us got life. One went home, and one got, I don't know what he got, but he had a third degree. So I know he did go upstate. But like I said, I was so mad. I ain't want nothing to do with them guys. I ain't had no rap for them. I was mad, you know?
Right.
So uh, like my main thing was with the guards. Like they would do things and I hold them accountable. You know, if I had to go in their face, that's what I did. If I had to stick them, that's what I did. I assaulted them. I did everything I needed to do as far as I was concerned at that point.
Right.
It didn't occur to me until later that basically they just had a job to do. They was just trying to make an honest living.
Now, how old were you when you first got sent up?
I was, I think, I was 17 when I got locked up,
Mm-hmm.
but I stayed down the county fighting, for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go, well, 2 years, because I went upstate in 83. I got locked up in 81. I went upstate in 83. So when I got upstate, the crazy part was my pop was up there.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So he was like showing me the ropes and all that kind of stuff. He became my celly and all that. He would talk to me and all that. But the problem was my pop was on drugs.
Right.
So he was there and then he wasn't, you know. Um, so again, like I said, I wound up doing my time and I got into so much trouble. I wound up doing 10 years in the whole. I don't know if you know what the SMU is. I've been at SMU two or three times. That's a special management unit for people who the jails can't handle.
Right.
So it's funny because all throughout the years, my conscience or really my God was telling me the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I might do something, I might be cool for a while and then just snap, you know?
Right.
So as I start doing the time in the hole, I start seeing one, it just occurred to me that I had choices, that I could have told them dudes no, right?
Right.
It also occurred to me that even though I wasn't a trigger man, I played just as much a part in the death of the victim as anybody else because I'm sure their family don't want to hear who was the trigger man. And keeping it real, if they didn't have my gun, then the person probably wouldn't be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to come to terms with all of that.
Right.
You know? And I'm doing all this in the backdrop of one of the most violent environments you can be in. Went to almost every jail that was a so-called tough jail I was at, and I was talking to the young boys, and some of them didn't want to hear it, some of them would listen to me. So I started realizing, well, wait a minute, I got a little pull here. I can do something with it other than what I was doing when I was out, because when I
Mm-hmm.
was out, I'm putting guns in people's hands, or I'm taking people on a stick up. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I was downgraded for, and the young boys would just gravitate toward me. And it was crazy because one night I was in the cell, and back then the guards, they would just lock you in the cell. No matter who was in there, if it was count time, they'd lock everybody in there and they'd count them, and then they'd let you out after the count. So one day and I used to always be laid back on my bed with my feet up talking to the young boy. So this particular time, the guard stuck her head in there and she said, "Oh, you at it again, huh?" He said, and one of the young boys was like, "Well, let me out the count." She's like, "No, I'll stay in there with Wiz. You know what I mean? You always in there anyway." And she locked the door and everybody had to stay in there to count. But when I looked, I realized one side, excuse me, let me cut this phone off. I realized one side of my wall had Bloods and the other side had Crips on it.
Mm.
And these dudes they had a cell where they would go in and just tear each other apart. But yet they was in my cell talking to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was like, you know what? You can't waste this. You got to use this. You know what I mean? So I started doing things to try to better myself, wind up getting my paralegal certificate and things of that nature. But again, it didn't take me until the court case came down saying that juvenile lifers could be released.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though I'm a paralegal and I knew about the law, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it would happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So once it happened, I was actually up to SMU when the case came down.
Mm-hmm.
But I had made up my mind then that I was going to go out in population and try to make a difference. You know, I didn't believe I was getting out. So uh, they shipped me from the SMU and sent me to Cole Township.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the perfect place for me because it's nothing but gangs up there. You know what I mean? Young boys, just gang war all day long, you know. And it was perfect for me because it gave me a chance to see if I could reach any of them dudes.
So tell me something. Most of the gang members that you interacted with inside the state prison system, uh, generally, where were they from?
A lot of them was from Philly, a lot of them was from New York, and some of them was from Jersey. They was Philly, Philly, New York, and Jersey. That was
So
the
where they at? Because I mean, I know these boys. They today they beefing over, you know, 30, 20th Street and 22nd Street. You
yeah.
know what I
See,
mean? But I don't hear too much about Bloods and Crips, and
that's
down the Spanish neighborhood, you might hear about some Latin Kings and Nietes and stuff like that. But where the Bloods and Crips at? Or
right.
they just did it while they was in jail?
That's what I'm getting ready to tell you.
Yeah,
You can tell that it was a pressure thing, right? When it came
right,
to Philly, like the New York Bulls and the New Jersey Bulls, they took it from there to the street.
right.
You know what I'm saying? These dudes
Mm-hmm.
in Philly, you weren't hearing nothing about them after they went home. Now, like I still show you, for instance, like it's two young boys. It's blood. I'm in contact with their family. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? One of them is like you said, he from the Badlands, little Puerto Rican boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The other one, he from Jersey, but his people live in Philly. So
Right,
yeah, it was a pressure thing. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, people was getting hurt.
right.
You know, maybe because of pressure or maybe real beef. I couldn't say because I never like one of them. They used to try to share codes with me and all that, but I wouldn't go that far.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because in my mind, it was no need for me to know all of that. You know, because my mission was something else. You know.
Right.
So anyway, they come down with the ruling and they say, okay, you got a shot. So that's when I really start changing everything, my way of thinking, how I was doing things. I said, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna be ready. I'm not
Right.
gonna do like I seen people doing life on the installment plan, 5 years here, 10 years here, 15. No, if I go out, I'm gonna be ready. So that's what I started doing. I started preparing my mind, my body, and everything. And I wound up getting resentenced. I wound up getting resentenced to 35 years to life. And at the time, I was 2 years over my minimum. I had 37 years in.
Okay.
And it was crazy because I wanted to see the parole board. They ain't want to hear nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So all that, they never went on about the case. Only thing they talked about was how many misconducts I had, how many guards I assaulted. And, I guess it's rightfully so, because their whole thing is, I'm assuming if you ain't got no respect for authority, how can we trust you out there?
Right.
And they never said that. That's what I interpreted. And it might have been a little bit of retaliation too, you know. But long story short, I wound up suing them.
Uh-huh.
And even though the judge said I didn't have a right to sue them, they was on notice that I would sue them. So when I went to see the parole the third time, they let me out. That was in 2020. That was
Okay.
last year. So I wound up going home on August 14th, 2020. And it was crazy because I wasn't intimidated. you know, from being in prison all that time, I wasn't, um, you know, nervous or apprehensive or nothing like that. I felt as though I deserved to be out. You know what I mean? And I don't like saying it that way because it sounds disrespectful to the individual that died.
Right.
I don't mean it in that context. What I mean is that I don't know what other purpose can be served by keeping me in prison. And I believe that I can make a difference out here.
Right.
I believe I did all I could in there in terms of making a difference. That my mission to make a difference is out here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I said when I came home, I said, you know, I gotta carry myself like I'm being watched 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that I'm gonna be judged, uh, not so much for what I do, but how they could justify keeping other people in prison. Because you gotta look at it like this. They told me I was the worst of the worst. I should never get out. Kept me in the hole for 10 years. On the other side, it's people never got write-ups, got the same time as me and
Mm-hmm.
or more. And the only reason why I'm out, because I was a certain age when I committed my crime.
Right.
But you got people that, I mean, it's just not fair to me. So my whole thing is when someone who has the authority to let other people out or impact other people, when they look at me, this is what I want them to see. I want them to see that, okay, you said I was the worst of the worst. I should never get out, yet I'm successful. So what can you say to the man who didn't do all the things that I did while in prison?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to tell him, the guy that went to college? I mean, this dudes in prison got associates, bachelors, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What you going to do about them? So my whole thing is, I know that if I was to mess up, they would say two things. One, we told you so about this guy. The other one is, this is why we can't let people out.
Right.
You know, now that's my personal uh, agenda. At the same time, you know, my family stuck with me all that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I refuse to let them down. You
So
know,
how's your relationship with your son right now?
well, he actually, now listen, I got three boys.
Okay.
Two of them I didn't get to meet because, well, one of them I met, but he was like 6 months old. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't see him no more. His mom took him away. Told him someone else was his father and all that. I'll be watching him on Facebook and all that, but I just decided not to.
Interrupt his life.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My son, who lived with us, he actually killed someone because they raped his sister.
Mm.
Now he got a new trial, so he's supposed to be coming home soon. They gave him a hit because he was my son. That's what they told him,
Mm.
and they gave him a hit because of it. But I talked to his lawyer. I sent his lawyer a copy of my lawsuit. His lawyer threatened to sue them, so now they letting him out. He had life too, but he got it overturned. So he got to come home. You know, one of the things I'm trying to do with my cleaning business is I'm trying to set it up where as though not only can I have a job for my son, but I want it for anybody that want a second chance coming home from prison
Mm-hmm.
and demonstrating that they can, you know, actually honor a second chance. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm doing now, I'm just trying to save a little here, save a little there, make sure my relationship with his mom is on point, and I'm just waiting for him to come home. We good, man. I'm good. My youngest son, he was in his mother's stomach. Again, he doesn't know me. You know, she told somebody else that. But now her argument was if I would have told everybody who your son was, who his dad was, they would have killed him. The way you was living out here, they would have killed him. It may be some truth to that, but that ain't the reason why you did what you did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I had reached out to him a few times when I was in prison, but he sent me some letters and I heard his mom voice in the letters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the way I see it is because it wasn't gonna be no man and her, well, you ain't seeing your son. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I followed him on Facebook. He went to college and all of that. He doing all right, but I really don't want to have a relationship with him because I feel like she done poisoned him too much. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it just would be too much. It would be too much extra stuff that I'm not in a position to be dealing with at this point because, like I said, I only been home a year, and I'm still living with my sister now. Now my job right now is I'm working on getting a home. In fact, I start some classes this month for first time homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, excuse me. Let me turn this off, man. Turn this off. So uh I'm hopefully I can get a house soon. I'm going to get a house one way or another. I'm going to get a house. But hopefully I can get it soon. And then maybe, I can reach out to my sons, and if they want to have a relationship, then we have it. But right now I can't even entertain, where I'm at. I don't want to. The time is just not right. But like I was saying to you earlier, God has blessed me greatly since I came home. Um, I work 5 days a week. I got my own car. I was going to college, but I had to drop out for a while because I opened up my own business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sucking up all my time and all my energy. So I was starting to fail my grades in college. So I said,
Right.
rather than fail, what happened was the Biden administration got this forgiveness program, loan forgiveness program.
Mm-hmm.
So I had qualified for that. So once they forgave my loan, I said, you know what, I'm gonna put college on hold because I'm not gonna go right back in debt like that when they just forgave my loan. Plus,
Right.
again, I'm not at my best to where I can uh,
Dedicate the time.
fight
Mm-hmm.
and energy needed. So right now, my focus right now is on two things. Well, three really: getting a house, uh, obtaining, success status for my business, right, and just trying to get the message out um, as much as I can to, in particular, to state legislators to say it's okay to give somebody a second chance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm at. Um,
So talk a little bit about how society has changed for you from the time you went in to the time you got out.
I mean, in some ways, it's changed dramatically, and in some ways,
Because
maybe
you went in before cell phones, you went in, the
yeah,
pay
that's what I'm
phones were
saying.
still on the
That,
streets.
that part right there, that's what I'm saying. That part right there, uh, and again, because I came out with the attitude like I'm supposed to be out here, I just latched on. I sat down, I learned my computer. Matter of fact, I bought a computer. I was home like 2 weeks and I bought a computer. And my
Mhm.
cousin was like, "What you doing? You don't." I was like, "Because I'm gonna learn this." You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And that's what I did. I learned it, and I'm learning my phone and all of that stuff. So in that respect, you can't even put into words, how much society has changed. Um, and then at the certain point with the racism and the not acknowledging our people or acknowledging us as a person,
Mhm.
hasn't it just hasn't changed. But the only good part that I see, because when I did my little marching and uh, demonstrating and fighting against the system, we would do it with the Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We would do our marches and cause Mumia, that's my old head. So, I would do my little thing under him. But again, it wasn't consistent. I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of things that really got me in trouble was that my environment wasn't stable as far as when I grew up. Like I was like 10 years old, and I remember I used to have to go to my mom when she used to get her check, and I would have to demand her check so that I could buy food and clothing for my sisters and brothers. So I used to pay the rent and all that stuff. And it wasn't, I ain't had no childhood, you know? So that's really how I got in trouble. I had man responsibilities too early, you
Mhm.
know? But like I said, if I can get this house, which I'm going to get, and, you know, uh, turn my business into a success, you know, then I can have time to reach out. Because one of the things I told myself, I said, I'm going to be home a year. Like if I wasn't home a year, we wouldn't be doing this interview
Mhm.
because I wanted to be as successful as I can. I didn't want someone to say, well, Omar gave Wiz a hand with this. Because it's people out here who don't have Omar. I don't have the family that I had.
Mhm.
So you can't go to them and say, well, yeah, you can do this and you can do that when you didn't do that. Like I got a thing. If you go on Facebook and you look at my business page, you'll see where I said basically, I said I did 39 years and 7 months. Now I have my own car, my own business, and I work. I said the bottom line is please don't tell me what you can't do.
Right.
See, the beauty of my position is this. I understand so-called street life, right? And what I mean by that is this, for those that's running in and out of the jail, right?
Mhm.
You can't run that regular excuse on me as to why you not doing what you're supposed to do. You can't drop it on me. Because it's just like I used to tell dudes in the prison, is you can't tell me nothing about this. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in it too long. Right? So either you don't recognize you making an excuse or you think I'm not intelligent enough to see it. One or the other is an excuse. You know what I mean? So I think I'm in a position to hold some dudes accountable. You know what I mean? Because one of the things I learned is that how you would say, and I was in this position, I die for my man. That's my man. I blow something up for him. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah.
You basically saying I die for my man, or you touch my family, I'm at you, all that. All right, so we know that you will die for these people, but will you live for them? This is what I want to know. Will you
When did that realization come that everything everybody told you about, when you get locked up, your people they turn their backs on you.
yeah,
They don't come see you. They don't put no money on your books.
yeah.
Your homies turn state's evidence against you. Sell you down the river with no
Right,
paddle.
right.
When did you realize that?
Believe it or not, from the rip, from the rip, bro. Listen, uh, I start peeping that only my family coming to see me, right? But now, mind you, I had some people that still believed in me in terms of I could have certain people will go pick up such and such, right? And give her this package. But they would come up then. You know what I'm saying? But as far as really support me, no, bro, that was all on my family. You know, and that's why, I'll give you an example. Uh, when I came home, I was talking to the sister on the phone. I forgot how we even got to talking because in my mind, oh, I know what happened. She called me, caught me off guard. Because I don't know, I would have never called her. So
who was this?
It was a sister I used to mess with before I went to prison.
Okay.
So she calls me and she's like, yeah, listen, I'm sitting on $5,000. Come on down to the hotel, F me real good, and I'm gonna give you this money. Right? And
for $5,000.
I remember saying this to her though. I said, no, I'm cool. She told me, what you mean? She said, you just came home. I know you need this money. I said, I didn't say I didn't need the money. I said, I'm cool as far as you concerned. I said, that $5,000 you could have put on my books. You know what I'm saying? If you got $5,000 for me now, you had $5,000 for me then. And like I told, I said, I never would expect you to be with me because I had a life sentence. But when I couldn't even reach out to you as a friend, you know what I mean, or wish you, a Merry Christmas or a Happy Birthday, you showed me something. So I'm cool. I'm good. Now, I've been turning down, a whole lot of friendships and a whole lot of sex with that, mantra. That's my position is that, you gave up on me. Like, well, I'll show you with my youngest son, mom. She had a nerve to reach out. Yeah, when you come home, this and that. I ain't got no rap. Whatever you was doing before I came home, keep doing. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I realized, a lot of people didn't expect me to come home. They didn't expect it. They just gave up. And you had that right. But don't try to act like you was on a scene or you entitled to something because that's disrespect to my family. I'm not running with you. I got sisters, bro. You imagine what a sister say they see me with my arms around this sister who didn't have time for me, you know what I mean, who couldn't even say hi to me or send me a birthday card. We know how much disrespect that is to your family. Right. And I ain't doing it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I even had dudes, the so-called homies, one of my so-called right-hand man, he reached out to first he reached out to me on Facebook, talking about what's up. I never answered him. That's what's up. I never answered him. You know what I mean? Then he reached out to a mutual friend we got, and he was like, yeah, talking with, and I told my man, I said, listen, the bull left me to die. Right? So what is it to say? I'm cool. I ain't got no rap.
Right.
Not only that though, but I'm gonna tell you something else. I don't want nothing to do with nobody that ain't living right. Now, if you out here and you ain't got no job, right? You ain't living right as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to deal with people that's going somewhere or have some goals and some objectives. Now, one thing I learned in prison, it's a big difference between a plan and an idea. Tell me what you think the difference is.
The idea is just that. It's something that you think about in your head.
Right.
And, it never materializes.
Right.
A plan is a effective action, something that you put it down. You say, this is how we're going to do this, X, Y, Z, in order to accomplish the goal that you trying to accomplish.
So we know that one is a noun, one is a verb, right? Right? That's what we know, right?
Right.
I mean, if I got a plan, I could put some paperwork on up in your face, or you can see by my actions that I got a plan.
Hmm.
And I might not agree with your plan, but at least you have one.
Right.
Don't you know? I told a brother, I said, man, you doing the same thing you was doing when I left 40 years ago. You think I want to deal with you, bro? You must be crazy or think I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
people out here been running in place. Listen,
And this is part of the message that I want the younger guys to see. This life, the
yeah,
streets,
yeah,
uh, you'll hear Muslims say this dunya. Um, it ain't going, it's dying.
right, right,
You chasing a dream. You
right.
know what I mean? You chasing a dream that's dying.
Yeah, true
It's
that.
never going nowhere. The streets are the same streets
Yeah,
that they were 50, 60 years ago.
right.
Them same corners that, like dudes, you find a few dudes hanging on the corners, not like it was when we came up. Now, dudes is, rapping and smoking in basements and cars and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all the same.
True that. True that.
You either living with life
Mm-hmm.
or you dying with death. And what do I mean by that? You got guys that's walking around here, all they do is get high all day long. You got the young boys, you got the bike culture, and
Video game.
running up and down the streets on the bikes and the dirt bike. That's all well and good, but what are you doing with your life?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you going to graduate to adulthood, manliness, you know what I
Well,
mean? You can't be sitting around riding on a bike all day and being a productive, not just productive citizen, a productive father, a productive husband or mate or whatever the case may
or even
be.
a productive son. You know what I mean?
All of that. You can't be, I mean, the glorification of nonsense
Right.
has really exploded since you left.
But who you talk? No, I see it.
You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, how has prison culture changed from the time you went into now?
Well, it's funny because I would get that question a lot
Mm-hmm.
uh, from prisoners, and the biggest difference is when I went to prison, we ran the prison. The inmates ran the prison.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every aspect of it except that key to that door.
Right.
Um, Now the administration has taken the prison back, and they sometimes they as harsh and tyrannical as you can imagine. So, and in a way, I think it's good that the authorities have control.
I mean, how long do you think the slave master would allow the slaves to be in charge?
Oh no, listen, it's funny you said that because even when we had run into jail, I would like say when I get my package, I would hustle in earnest because I already expected this going to end some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Look, something that my pop told me, and I try to pass it on to younger guys now. Like I used to, my pop, like I said, he was my celly, and he used to grind me up. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he would say, "Well, I'm a dope fiend. I got an excuse. What's your excuse?" You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And one time he said to me, he said, "I want you to recognize something." He said, "Life has a middle." No, he said, "Life has a beginning, a middle, and an ending." He said, "You always got to know what part of life you in."
Mm-hmm.
And he would say sometimes, I would say or do something. He would say, "Okay, well, what is that the beginning or where you at? The beginning, middle, or end? Where you at?" And it used to piss me off because I knew what the honest answer was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I got to the point where I would start asking young guys that. where you at? Beginner, middle, or ending,
Hmm.
and they would have the same dumb look I had. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think, I think one of the greatest things that you and I could do for the younger is to make them recognize and understand that they have choices. I think that's probably one of the best things you can do because although I was making choices, I didn't know that I had real other choices that I could make.
Right.
I think that once that's pointed out to these younger guys and they understand it, I mean, really comprehend, because like I had to explain to a young brother that your life is not the mainstream. Like I'll show you a perfect example. Uh, Me and the young boy was talking, and I said, "How old are you?" And he said, um, "I'm 35, but people tell me I'm older. People say, I'm wise beyond my years."
Hmm.
And I said, "Well, listen, show me who that is, so I can break their jaw for them, so they don't tell you nothing like that anymore." Tell me what you mean. I said, "Man, don't you understand? The dudes your age got 10 years in on their job. They done went to college, they done graduated, or the minimum graduate high school. You sitting in the penitentiary and you letting somebody fill your head, got you thinking you something special. You're not special. You're not the mainstream, bro. The
Hmm.
mainstream work every day. It's like I used to tell dudes when they talk to the guard, they be like, well, I'm a man like you. No, you not. That man pay his bills every day. You understand what I'm saying? That man taking his family. You got a burden on your family. Your family burdened by you. How you a man? You might be a human being. And that's why I used to ask the guards, respect me as a human being. I know you don't see me as a man, but respect me as a human being. Can you do that? I
Right.
mean, but I would correct a lot of the statements that they would say. I'm a man. No, you not. No, you not. You know what I'm saying? You a male. That's what you is. You a male. You're not a man.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that to light because unfortunately, and this goes for people who have never been to jail. Uh, they don't understand that being a man comes with responsibilities,
Yeah.
uh, and those responsibilities vary amongst cultures. But you know, guys think that they're males and they have a certain age that now they're mans, they're or men, and that's not the case. And manhood has been defined throughout the ages, and it's never been because you have a male body part or
Right.
you born a male. So and we can see that all throughout society right now that uh you know people don't even ascribe to being men
Right.
nowadays. You understand what I'm saying? So
Satisfied with the male.
uh unfortunately, uh, uh Hollywood holds a responsibility, game makers hold the responsibility, um and the absent males also hold the responsibility
Right.
for that which they have left behind of their seed, and not giving them a good example in which to follow. And there's no book that comes with it per se, but a lot of us who didn't have that male role model there, we still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and again, that's why I don't want to, because sometimes I might rough them up a little bit, but I'll come back, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to make them understand, where my frustration lies, right, and I also try to make and take accountability by letting them know that you're that way because if we didn't do our job for
Right.
whatever reason, you know what I mean, and again, like I said, I've been able to have some very special relationships. Man, I got a bunch of young boys on my callers list that I email with. You know what I mean? Some of the things I told them I was going to do if it wasn't just for visiting their families, I've done.
Hmm.
You know, to show them that a man don't just do what he want to do; he do what he have to do and what he need to do. You know what I'm saying? Even if that's not what he want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
By
um,
all legal means.
right, true that. I mean, that listen, you can take for granted, you can take the legal part for granted with me. You hear me?
Hmm.
And everything around me, you can take for granted. Like before I got the job I got now, right? I was working with a family member, and in fairness to him, I never seen him do any drugs, never seen him deal no drugs in that, right? But I did see people from the hood coming to the place of business, right?
Hmm.
I did see interactions that I could ascribe to drug dealing, right?
Right.
So what I did is I never came back to work. I went home that Friday and I never came back. I went and got me a new phone Monday. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I left mad gear down there, man.
You broke completely. Yeah, I mean, broke camp completely.
I wanted understood, and see, this is the thing. This is what I was just telling my brother, because my brother, I had got him an interview to come down to ShopRite. That's where I work at. I work at ShopRite, right?
Mhm.
But like I say, I also got a cleaning business. In fact, when I finish this interview, I got a cleaning business. I got a cleaning job. I got to go to.
Mhm.
But so my brother, he has a job already. But I told him, look, man, for what you trying to do, you need two jobs, man. You gotta better prioritize what you're doing. In fact, he was one of them dudes I told him, you've been running in place, all the time I was going. But anyway, I say all that to say this, man. Uh, One of the things I was explaining to him was, look, accountability, right? That's the main thing as a black man, we have to have. Now, I need to be accountable to you. You need to be accountable to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's some things that's, you know, I mean, it's the barriers that you have with myself and other people. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you know, you got to be first accountable to yourself.
Hmm.
You know, you got to be accountable to yourself, bro. So,
And what does that accountability look like?
well, guess what? It got many faces, right? One of the faces is this: if you don't know something, ask.
Hmm.
If you don't know something, just ask, bro. That's one of the accountabilities right there. Don't think, you know, like I'm like this. I ain't got no problem asking information or whatever. And you can look at me like I'm stupid and all that. I don't care. As long as I get the answer,
Hmm.
I don't care what you think. You know what I'm saying? I just
Right.
need the answer, bro. And now I'm ready to roll. Now I'll show you what I mean. I got this cleaning business, right?
Right.
So I asked my brother, where's your cleaning business? No, I asked him, where's your mechanic shop? Because he good at fixing. Well, how you out here and you don't got a mechanic? What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I said, I don't even want you to answer to me. Answer to yourself. Ask yourself why you don't have this, that, or the other thing. I ran a list off. And it ain't about material things, but these are the things that make you a man.
Right.
Things that you're supposed to do. I mean, it breaks my heart, bro, to come home and see family just standing in the same place. You know, my
Right.
cousin, he was telling some other family member, he said, look, he said, where's and caught up with y'all already? How is that possible? You know what I'm saying?
Nobody taught them. They didn't learn better. Nobody taught them better. They didn't see the signs on the wall. I mean, whatever the case may be, they were too scared to try. They thought they can't or couldn't. A whole lot of things
And
we could say.
guess what? You know what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that an accountable man says to himself. Because I don't need to know the answer, right? But
Right.
if you saying that to yourself, as long as you giving yourself those answers, that's all I want you to do, bro. You don't have to tell me nothing, but explain to yourself what the problem is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's where I'm at. And, you know, I want to do anything and everything I can to help. Because I'm going to tell you, man, and this might sound cliche, but if I can stop just one person from going through what I went through,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I do it in a heartbeat, man.
How do we get through to them though? Because this generation of cats, I mean, I don't know. You tell me what. Uh,
Well, see, this is what I found out. See,
mhm,
each individual is different.
right,
Like if you had the same blueprint for everybody, you're gonna lose, right? So you have to be able to study them enough, you know. Like I'll show you a perfect example. Some dudes, you know, I was like a father figure to,
hmm,
and they was fine with that. Some dudes, you're not gonna son, you're not gonna son them.
right,
You might could uncle them or nephew them. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So you have to be discerning enough to understand the best approach, right? Now, whatever that approach may be, it got to be wrapped up in what's called communication. It got to be wrapped up in communication, right? And another C, because I always say the two C's: communication, right, and concern.
right,
One thing about these young dudes, right, and females too, if they know you care about them, they react different. If they know you just talking to them, but you don't really care about them, they not listening. They don't want to hear it. But if you really, care about them, bro, they feel that. They feel that,
hmm,
and that caring about them part is something we got to work on
right,
because I done seen too many of us give up on them, right? And one of the reasons why I'm not giving up on them, because one, I know the resiliency of the black man. That's one.
hmm,
Nobody need to prove that to me. I done seen it. It is all in the history book, right?
right,
But two, we was dumb and we got through it. So I got confidence in them that they can get through it, right?
right,
But they gotta have what we had. See, we had an old head we can go to. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
Sometimes I remember I was saying how you deal with people. Some guys, they just need to know you're there. They don't even need to have your advice. They don't need all they need to know is that you're there. That's all they need to know. If they know you're there, then that's enough. So again, it's different individuals. And we have to, when you get up, like say for instance, if me and you was on stage and we were speaking to some young guys, right? Okay, that's not no interaction on one.
right,
But you got to be able to touch all the bases so that each one of them in the audience say, he talking to me. Not, oh no, he talking, no, he ain't talking. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So that's the key because it seems to me that a lot of people our age have either completely given up on the younger dudes or they forgot what it's like to be young and dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you something that comes to my mind, and I want you to tell me your take on it. William Shakespeare said, "The youth, no, yeah, the youth is wasted on the young."
The youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah, what you get out of that?
Well, from that statement isolated, I would see it as being just madness, no guidance when you're young. So your youth is wasted. No one to show you the proper way in doing things, what moves to make, learning from others' mistakes that came before you, just in general, something like that.
Yeah. So, and in all fairness to you, though, I studied a little bit about Shakespeare as an individual,
Mm-hmm.
and the one thing I noticed about him is he had an irony in what he would say. He would say something, and it would sound sarcastic, but he also had a painfulness that you can feel and see that he was feeling.
Right.
You can recognize, just think about it, to be or not to be.
That is the question.
I mean, it's straightforward, but it's people miss the pain side of that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's people catch the sarcasm of the youth is wasted on the young, but they miss the pain of it. You know what I'm saying? And when
Okay.
you can grasp that pain, like I would be talking to some young boys and they would say some stuff, man, to make you want to wring their neck, right?
Right.
And I would say to myself what Shakespeare said, the youth is wasted on the young, right? I'm gonna tell you something I noticed when I was in prison. You asked me about the prison environment changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot I can tell you about that. There's a lot I can't. But the one thing I had begun to tell myself was, I think this was about 90. It might have been 80, I'm gonna say about 87. I just started telling myself, yo, Wiz, it's 1987, man. And that's what you gotta do. You gotta say, oh, it's 2021. That makes a difference, bro. That makes a big difference. If you talking about, if you look at me and you, right, I'm sure we around the same age, right?
Right.
I'm 58, right? So you close to that, right?
51.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, take 51 and see how many 20s you can get out of it.
220s.
You get two, right?
Right.
You just lived two lifetimes, bro. Now you take how many 14s you get out of that? How many 15s you get out of that?
Right.
So you got, let's just say 51 years, or if you give you some time to goof off, you get 38 years, right? That you can reflect on and make decisions based off of, right?
Right.
But this dude is 21. He's saying what a 21-year-old supposed to say. Because he don't got no other knowledge base. He don't got nothing to refer to.
Right.
So when we keep it in context like that, then we can craft our response. Because like in my head, I'm like, stupid. I guess you would say that. You know what I'm saying? But what comes out my mouth is like, okay, tell me where you got that from. You see what I'm saying? You got to provoke thought. If you can get them to look at themselves in the mirror,
Mm-hmm.
you're halfway home. You're halfway home.
Now I have a stepson that just came home.
Right.
Uh, he's almost 30.
Okay.
Um, he's been institutionalized since he was 7 now, off and on.
Right.
You know, the situation surrounding him being institutionalized, it's kind of questionable. I I didn't agree with it, but I didn't have any legal bearing on his, deciding what his fate was.
Right.
But you know, we were just having a conversation the other day, and he's talking about, man. I asked him. I said, "Is anybody out here looking for you?" It's like, yeah, it might be a few people out here, but I ain't trying to go back. I ain't trying to be involved in none of that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, could have been the same situation for you, but now 39 years have passed. All that, I mean, all that is long gone.
My faith guides me,
Right.
I feel like the Lord let me out for a reason. So he's not gonna allow nothing to interfere with what he let me out for.
Well, we know nothing gonna happen to you that he doesn't decree to happen to you.
Amen. Amen.
We understand that. But like I was saying, my young boy, he just talking about, I got something to live for now. I ain't trying to go back into none of that. And he got a son. He trying to get his shirt line, the streets made me and all that other stuff, on shirts. You got to give it to him though. He's trying to be an entrepreneur. So, you got to give him something, whatever ideas, as long as it's positive.
Well, hold up though. Part of being an entrepreneur, right, is knowing your audience, right? Mm-hmm. How many audiences do you think, how many people?
Hey, listen, look, I ain't going to stop nobody's hustle right now. As long, if that morphs into something else.
But it's not a matter of stopping it. But this is the situation what I was touching on earlier, right? See how you got to provoke thought in him. You know what I mean?
Well, what I did tell him was, I said, you have to be able to discern and choose company that doesn't involve themselves in that type of environment. I said, you can't come back out here and thinking, even if you say you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, if you going back to hang with the same people who was doing that same stuff and they still in the streets or whatever the case may be, harm going to come to you. It's inevitable because they still doing the same dumb stuff. So you have to change your cast members. You have to change your friendships. You got to be mature enough to understand that if I go and hang back down this part of town or that part of town, and I'm doing everything, I just want to sell some shirts, harm may come to you. I explained that to him. You understand what I'm saying?
Can I just interrupt you for this 1 second?
Yeah.
Because what I heard is, okay, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do, right? Mm-hmm. I think the point I'm making is, if you engage him to the point where you say, most people would think you need to do this, or do you think you need to do it? Or how you feel about it? Again, that's same question, but it provokes a thought. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you could say to him, if your man came home today, tomorrow, and he did, and you can say what he's doing, what would you say to him? Because sometimes they're young, they don't see that they the ones that's doing this. So sometimes you got to remove them from the situation and be like, okay, what do you think about a guy that does this? So once that commitment come out of his mouth, because I'll show you a perfect example. Most dudes will say just about anything to a chick that got a nice body. Whoa, girl, that thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if you were to say to him, now, you got a sister, you got a mom, what you think, how would you feel if somebody said that to her? See, now he's thinking now.
Mm-hmm.
Because he know what he would have said. Everybody know what you would have said if somebody said it to your mind. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So again, you could say, you could put it that way. You could say, yo, man, we don't do that. But it come across different.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just like now, what I'm saying to you, I can see you, your wheel spinning. Right now, I'm looking at you and see your wheel spinning. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how you got to reach them. You got to find a way to make their wheel spin. Because see, while you telling him all that, him being young, because I was in that situation, I know they're gonna say, okay, well, you live two different lives. How you know how this go? That's a dumb statement. You know how it go. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? But they don't have that, they don't have that reference point.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta say, basically, well, listen, I don't know too much about the street like that. So what you think about this? Engaging. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if once they get on a defensive and they throw that wall up, they gonna tune you right out. They gonna tune you right out.
Well, in my case, in my situation, the good thing is, um, later on, him and his brother, I think, realized everything I was telling them as youths came to fruition. Said, yo, y'all keep doing this, you're gonna go to jail. You know, and they went to jail. And his older brother said to me one time, he was like, I ain't get it when you used to tell me stuff when I was younger. He said, but I see it now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I say that to say, I'm gonna put him on the phone with you one of these days. But they see me as being concerned, and um I don't know if they put up a wall or anything like that, you know, when I try to talk to them. But now my son, their brother, he's 21 years old, one foot in, one foot out. You know, he done been shot before. Although it wasn't intended for him, the person that he was with, it was intended for him.
So the question is, are you doing anything that could expose you to getting hit unintentionally? That was the question for him.
Right.
So that's how you got, when he come in running in and out, you got to find a way to put that thought in his head. So now when he with that dude, he know, hold up, this boy could get, you know what I mean? Because at 21, he not going to be able to see that. You see what I'm saying? There's only a few like intelligent individuals that can look at it like common sense wise, like why would you be with this dude when you know what he's working with, right? Listen, my homie son just got killed because somebody was shooting at his man, right?
Right.
Now, my homie kept on saying, man, I told him. And I'm saying to myself, okay, yeah, you told him, but how'd you tell him? Because it's all in the packaging. It's all in the packaging, bro. We gotta, the concern is there. That ain't a question. You know what I mean? I can see the concern. But again, you gotta be extremely patient with them. I'll tell you a perfect example. I was talking to a young guy one day, and he was telling me something I already knew. You know what I mean? And I said to him, I said, well, do me a favor. Act like I'm your little brother. Break it down and explain it to me like I'm your younger brother. Cause I'm not, this is what I'm not getting. And I told him what I'm not getting. So as he kept trying to explain it, he found himself tripping over the words that he was saying because he knew he didn't want to say what I wanted him to say.
Right.
So he tried to, you know what I mean? But he finally, you see what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's how you gotta do with these young. You got it's like a game, like man. You know, it's like okay, we on a chessboard. All right. Omar just moved his queen to D4, right? So I know you moved your queen there. Ain't no question about that. The question is why'd you move that queen there? See what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know your son, stepson, or whatever, you know what they did, but you got to get them to think of why they did it. You know, like why would you expose yourself to this type of situation?
Right.
So he would just tell me you didn't know. If you didn't know, fine. But I'm just asking you, why would you expose yourself to that? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You just gotta provoke. If you provoke that thought, because they super intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
These kids of the day, bro, they super intelligent, but they socially retarded. You see the difference?
Right.
And you have to have that in your mind. Like their social skills is shot. You know, their social skills are the worst if they even have them.
And they're very emotional these days.
What? What?
Overly
Very,
emotional.
very. Find another word, bro. Not very. Extremely. You
Yeah, I
know what I'm saying?
mean, it's like they
Yeah.
got a shot of estrogen every day or something.
Right. But see, you ahead because you peeped that.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? It's a lot of dudes our age, they don't even peep that. You know what they'll say? Man, what the F wrong with you, man? You ain't no brute. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they'll say. And when it was us, it made sense. We got it. You say that to them, they shut down more. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now we got to teach them, okay, this is how we do as a family. You might not care about this, but this is how other people look at it. Whenever you do something, they see Omar, they see your mom. So do that matter to you? You see what I'm saying? It's
Right.
a slow, but the good part is once they get it, then they start thinking like that. You know, I remember one time I said to my niece, I said, now see, my sister was getting on about something. I said, now see, this is what I be talking about. I said, all you gotta do is use your head. And you can't say you're stupid because I've been around you and I already know you're not stupid. Right?
Right.
So that was the end of that. 2 weeks later, she did something. She said, well, you said use your head. I said, okay, okay. You see what I'm saying? So they
Right.
don't forget. They listen to you, man. Don't think they don't listen. They listen. But they hear a different way. And we have
Yeah.
to speak their language.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I think the best way to speak their language, bro, is you have to have patience. You have to be able to put yourself in a predicament. You have to be 21. If you can put yourself in a 21-year-old, you gonna get them. You gonna get them. Same way, and I see you got the instinct because you said earlier. You said, well, wait a minute. Where the Bloods and Crips at out here? What is this? Some jailhouse stuff? Boom. Your instincts is solid. Your instincts is solid, right? Boom. You hit it right on the head. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, but you can't say that to them. You can't say, well, why you a blood? Because you under. You can't say that to them.
Right.
You can say, listen, I know this young boy, he getting pressure. What you think? What should I tell him? See what I'm saying?
Right.
Now he start thinking. Then you can come up on, well, hold up, wait a minute, hold up. If that's the way you feel, how come you? See what I'm saying? No, it take energy, bro. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man. See, I had the time on my hands, you know, and I'm still in that mode because I've been doing it so long.
Right.
It ain't for everybody. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So you have to make
Well,
that decision.
we definitely need you. You know what I mean? We
I'm
need
here.
you. So you know, your role is definitely a role that, you know, because real men can recognize that it's like being the CEO of a company. The CEO isn't necessarily the smartest man in the room, but he's smart enough to know that and put the smartest people around
True
him.
that.
You understand this? Understand what I'm saying?
True that,
So
bro. True
I
that.
understand that that might not be my role.
Right.
So I got to get with the people like yourself, and that's your specialty until, you know, I can inculcate that into my persona and be able to take from, you know, and learn from guys like you. So
Well, I respect that you able to, you know, not with me, but just in general, that you able to look at it. I mean, because that means a lot. Because a lot of people would have just what I'm saying. A lot of people would have took it personal and been like, man, I ain't. You know what I'm saying? That's how
oh,
we is. But
again,
that's how the older people are now. You try to talk to them and tell them how to reach the young buck, they don't want to hear it.
again, part of manhood is understanding and knowing you don't know everything.
Right. Well, listen to this. Listen to this story real quick. Now, I was a state champion, right, in powerlifting. This is
Mhm.
this is a long time ago. I go to the gym now, but I'm gonna put a video though. Since we do the YouTube, I need you to help me. I'm gonna put a video and put some young boys to shame, right?
Okay, all right.
But anyway, listen to this. We on the weight pile. I had just I think I just won the regionals or something. So we was on the weight pile. So the young boy came over and he said, "Yeah, old head, I learned this. Let me show you something." So he got down on the bench and he actually showed me something that I wasn't aware of.
Right.
So I said, "All right, good look." So he left. Now the dude I'm with was older than me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Man, you must be crazy." I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Nah, I never let a young boy tell me nothing." And before I could answer, I had to pace myself because my heart went out to him. Because he said it was such fight and vigor that he meant it to the core.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand why he would mean something like that. Like, I just, you know what I mean? But I thought, I said, but damn, you know, you younger. So now do you want to try to tell them do something or not? You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is, I said, well, you know, I said, you know, paraphrasing the Bible telling me to seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about that? He said, yeah, that's right, that's right. I said, well, the man dropped knowledge. I mean, what it don't make now you hold up. You saying seek knowledge, but when a man drop knowledge, you saying reject what? I don't now you got me confused. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he like, no, you see, you think you so smart. Bro, I'm just asking a question, you know. But we listen, we full of contradictions too. And they watch that,
Yeah, no
right?
doubt.
And they see when we phony and not genuine. That's what I mean by we have to care. We have to care enough to say, like I said to you, I have to care enough to say, listen, I wasn't a trigger man, but I'm just as guilty,
Right.
right? We have to keep care enough to say, yeah, here's where I made a mistake. You know, we got to care enough to say, like one of my sons, I told him, I said, you know, I owe you an apology. And he said, for what, Dad? I said, well, you know, I entered into your mom and we wasn't married.
Mm.
And God prescribed marriage. And I think if you would have been born underneath that umbrella of marriage, then you would have got blessings. I think I took blessings away from you.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So when we start being transparent in our inabilities, and then, you know, my pop, you know, he well, this is live interview, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I was about 7. So my pop, you know, I would hear word, oh, your pop on drugs, you know what I mean? So one day my pop said, you know, come here, I want to take you somewhere. And he took me to this girl he was messing with. And he took me in the bathroom and he shot dope right in front of me.
Mm.
And he said, I'm doing this because of 2 reasons. One, I want you to see my weakness. you know, because I thought my power was Superman. He
Mm-hmm.
said, this is my kryptonite, and you have to understand that. He said, the other thing is, I never want nobody to tell you anything on the street about me that I can't tell you myself, you know?
Right.
And I look at all Black children as all our sons. And when we can be as transparent, not that transparent all the time, but as
Yeah.
transparent,
Right. Right.
I think that we can win them back because we lost them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we forget that because you hear people say, well, these young dudes, but they never say, yeah, we fucked up. Excuse my language. You very seldom hear that.
Right.
And until you start hearing it, well, until they start hearing it, until the young bucks start hearing it, you know, all the other stuff is don't mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is why I was able to, you know, I done had some young boys, man, tell me some stuff that I know they never told nobody else.
Right.
And I felt bad. I was honored that they felt and trust me enough to do it, but I felt bad because why you shouldn't have to come to jail to get this.
Right.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I say all that to say that's my motivation, bro. Part of it. You know, I mean, I got many angles that motivate me, but that's one of them, and that's a major one. You know what I mean? Is that, you know, it's important to me that the youth I deal with, should they choose to do so, can trust me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
What do you think about this money they're putting into within the city of Philadelphia, all this money, these grants they putting into these so-called programs to help with intervention with um, you know, troubled youth or at-risk youth, um, because you know I spoke to someone who's a grant writer, and they kind of told me that this was a waste of time. Uh, uh, Basically, like these programs are stealing money. They're not really. Uh, this is what I got out of it. They're not really, you know, stopping you for or interventing or doing any type of intervention that's actually preventing you from going out and committing crimes and stuff like that. Because the crime rate hasn't stopped, it hasn't slowed down. You know, the murder rate's still up. So, what do you think about that?
well, let me preface it, my comments first and to say that because I'm not directly involved with any of them,
Mm-hmm.
I you know, I'm limited as to what I can say because, you know, I'm no old school in terms of nothing be the failure but a try,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, um, I'll say this too that if those programs could just help one person, you know what I mean, then it's worth it. Um, See what you was telling me was a form of criticism that came to your attention, right? And one of the things I do with criticism is always ask two questions. One, is the criticism true?
Mm-hmm.
The other question that I ask is, who's it coming from?
Right.
Those two answers usually give me the ability to respond a little bit more accurately. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but in general, I mean, I got a general opinion. In general, I say if the resource is there, why not use it? Whether they have an impact or not.
So what as someone who's been there and done that, where do you think they should put the money at? Like, you know, they talking about open up rec centers, longer hours.
I think
I
that
I I never believed that that's stopping a crime, because dudes just committing crimes, they ain't playing no sports anyway.
right, right.
You
But
understand what I'm saying?
I think the
That
money.
that might prevent kids who get caught in crossfires and stuff like that a safe space to play.
True, true.
But it's not to shelter the children from what the reality
Of life.
is, because once they leave the rec center, it's still going to be there.
Right,
It's to go out and reverse some of the thinking
right,
that causes, individuals to be in the streets, and commit crimes. That's, now you got the social media wasn't around, so a lot of the stuff taking place on social media now,
right.
social media beefs, oh, you said this, now I'm gonna go take this dude out, oh, boy getting out of jail tomorrow, we're gonna be there when he go to the bus stop and shoot him up, and all that kind of nonsense.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you realize, I realize, you realize that they are fulfilling a goal anyway.
True that.
To destroy ourselves. They are fulfilling a goal. And one of the things I wrote about in my undergrad was how crime was big business.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to stop crime. They only want
Right.
to control crime.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So these guys, I don't think really understand that y'all are part of, as we talked about chess. Yes, as we talked about chess, and other things, they frame some of the mentality that goes on in the streets through entertainment with the rappers, so forth and so on. They promote these type of things. They promote beefs. They promote violence in the video games in Hollywood, so they can, since slavery, quote unquote, slavery was over back in early 1900s or whatever. They still had to get that slave labor. It never went away. United States has the highest per capita prisoners, inmates, than any other country in the world. But the next highest, I think, is China.
Yeah, but you just hit on it though, right? First of all, I think they need to support what we're doing, having a conversation about this, and being open to anybody that want to push a button and get involved, or just listen, right? So I think that money is well spent off of interactions like this, right?
Right.
But I also think that if we had a way to weed out those who are rehabilitated, and connect them with this younger generation,
right?
Man, I think look. I don't think it's nothing that can't be done. If you put, man, in that, you got some minds in those prisons, bro. You just wouldn't believe.
Remember Scared Straight program?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. See, they to me, they should have said Care Street, not Scared Street, Care Street, because you didn't care about none of them. You was talking to them, but none of them thought you cared. And that was the missing piece. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
When you don't say, look, I'm not trying to son you, but I got a son your age, or I got a nephew your age, or, I would be proud to have you as a son. You know what I mean? When they hear those type of things, that's real. Scared straight. How you gonna scare somebody straight? You can't do it. That's crazy.
It worked for some of them. They ain't want to come back to prison.
Well,
sure.
they would listen.
I get what you're saying. No,
The
I understand what you're
foundation
saying.
was there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's some people, listen, it's some people, they can get locked up today, spend one day locked up, and they never see the penitentiary again.
Mm-hmm.
So those people were predisposed to getting it,
Right.
right? So yeah, of course you're gonna have it's gonna work. But I'm saying when you talk about doing things on a massive scale to where you want anywhere from 35 to 50% success, it's gonna come from them prisons.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna come now. Of course, you got some dudes in prison. All they do is scheme, plot, and if you can find a way to weed them out and get the ones that's serious and sincere,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Because the one thing the youth recognize right now is street cred. You don't got street cred, you're not saying nothing. You hear me?
Right.
And you know, and remember I used to tell you there's different ways you got to deal with different dudes. So you know, like I had this one young boy. I said, man, listen. He was talking about, yeah, old head. I heard about you, but you buy stuff now. I do this. I said, listen. I'm not saying you won't. You probably will, but I can guarantee you this: you'll never do it again. I'm gonna be the last person you do that to. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Now he knew. You know what I mean? He started laughing. You know what I'm saying? He's like, all right, old man, you good, we good. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew, like, one, I seen a dude on my job the other day. I didn't even recognize him. I still don't remember him. He stopped me. He said, yo, wasn't you up Cold Town shit? Didn't you used to be with such, such, such? Yeah. He said, you probably don't remember me all here, but I used to watch you from far away, man. He said, yeah, man. You know, you the reason why I ain't been back to jail. I don't even know him.
Right.
But the bull who I used to talk to was his old head. And I used to go hard on his old head. Couldn't talk like, man, you talking because he don't understand the civilized. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
had to get in my animal bag with him. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Some of them you got to do that with. You gonna have people who gonna reach, I never reach. See what I'm saying? I'm just a knucklehead old head to them.
Right.
So when you got that eclectic force of individuals, some that have been in, some that been out, some that's legitimate, some that wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
See, somebody like me, I can respect and admire someone like yourself.
I ain't nobody, bro.
No, let me break it down to you. Listen to this. Now I told you, if you ever get a chance, most people think Richard Allen Mob is a rap group, right? But it actually was organized crime.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I was a soldier at one point, and I had this black Monte Carlo. Everybody knew if you got in that black Monte Carlo, there's a good chance nobody gonna see you again. Let's put it that way. So I had a homie I went to school with. Now I told you my girl, I would come home to my girl every night, but now sometimes night would be 4 in the morning or 6 in the morning. But I come home.
Right.
So I used to have my man with me. I don't want to say his name because he up the penitentiary right now, but he used to drive me around because I'm a lazy driver.
Right.
But he used to drive me all. I had a park and I had a Monte Carlo. He used to drive me in the park. But this one night we didn't have a park. I don't know what I don't know if it needed chat. We didn't have a park anyway. We was in my car. So, but before this, I used to see my man Carlton. I'm saying his name because I respect him this much. I used to see my man Carlton. And every time I would drive past this particular place, he would be on the corner waiting for the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I used to say to myself, well, this nigga Carlton is a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, bro. I mean, I really meant it, right? I was like, wow, look at this dude. He got this dumbass hard hat on. This boy, fool. His girl probably got her legs up in the air. You know, all kind of derogatory stuff I used to think about, right? I should run this joke over, man. This joke is standing there looking like a square. That's
Whole time you was jealous of him.
no. I mean, I really hated him. I really hated him because he was a square. Listen, this is why I hated him. One time when we was game one, we went to him. We was like, "Yo, Carl," because he was tall, and you know what I mean. We needed him, right? He was like, "Man, listen, we was drafting dudes in the game, right? This boy was so much against getting drafted, he started crying, talking about, "Oh man, if I let my mom down, man," and he's just a sucker, man, as far as I was concerned, right?
Right.
So this one particular night. I'm laid back. I mean, see how it was raining yesterday?
Right.
It was raining almost like that. I mean, crazy. So we driving past, and I look, I could barely see him. I look, and he's just standing there with his hard hat on and all that, and his little lunch box. He just standing in the rain waiting on the trolley.
Right.
I tell my man, yo, pull over, man. Let me get this dude to ride. So I pulled the window. I said, Carlton. Like, yo, what's up? I said, get in, man. I'm gonna take you to work, man. His eyes just bulged out his head. He was like, no, man, I'm all right, man. No, I'm cool, man. Listen, man, I ain't do nothing, did I? I said, no, what you talking about? I'm saying, man, get in the car, man. He like, man, please, Will, don't make me get in the car, please, bro. I don't want to get in the car. I said, man, don't you see how it's raining out? What's wrong with you? You gonna catch pneumonia. That's all right, bro. I'm good. So I'm like, all right, fuck you then. Excuse my language. So as we get up the street, I'm still cursing him. I said, no, I should go back there and pistol with this clown. I'm trying to look out for him. He gonna turn me. I'm mad. So my man say, you do know this ain't the park, right? You know what car we in, right? I was like, oh, okay, damn, that's right, my bad. All right, okay, all right. So that made sense. But let me tell you the moral of the story though. One day, I'm sitting in my cell, and the story comes back to me about Carlton, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, I'm wishing I was Carlton because I'm doing life now. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now I got a newfound respect for this clown because he never been to jail. And he got one of the baddest chicks that we come up with. The chick that told me, you know what the chick told me? This the same chick. This was she told me. She said, listen, I like you, but you going to jail or somebody gonna kill you. I'm not having that on me.
Mm-hmm.
And years later, Carlton get it. You know what I mean?
But now the girls like the dudes, and they like lifers. I'm hearing about girls like life.
Listen, bro, that ain't nothing. I had a guard that I was messing with. I used to be tough. She was a young girl too. I used to be like, yo, like when she first started coming on to me, she would just rub me down all crazy doing a search. I act like I don't even know what's going on. And one day I said, why you keep on, you know what I mean, messing with me? I said, I got all these young boys your age. Don't you go ahead on and holler at one another. And you know they all on you. She was like, yeah, but they don't got life though. All right. But I found a trick. I'm gonna give you the answer to it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Now, when I give it to you, it's gonna make sense. Watch what I tell you. Now remember, I told you the juvenile thing was coming down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Downgraded for. Now check this out. My man, he was working in the hospital downgraded for. He hooks up with this nurse. He gets transferred to Huntington, right?
Right.
They get married up Huntington. He gets transferred back to Greatest Ford. They got 5 kids together. See what I'm saying? So check this out. My man asked me about the juvenile lifer thing. I'm telling him what I know, but man, I told you before, I didn't believe in it. I'm just telling I'm just telling you what I understand the case to be.
Right.
All right. Every morning I used to go up to the hospital because I'm diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
Now I used to see his wife up there, speak to her, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. She started speaking to me. So I'm like, all right, for whatever reason, she started speaking. All right, that's a prerogative. So one day, I goes up to the hospital early in the morning. She's like, let me talk to you, Will. I thought you want to speak to me. She said, I'm not, but let me talk to you. All right. Go in the office. She said, let me tell you something. You better not be feeling such and such head with that juvenile life stuff. If I wanted him out, I would have been had him out. I could have been got him a lawyer. Listen, I know where he at every night. I know what he doing. I ain't got to worry about him cheating on me. He can stay right where he at. Hey, look, this the crazy part though. So I'm like, listen, I never said nothing to him. He asked me a few questions. I told him, I'm not trying to, I got your point. Okay, y'all got you. He ducks me for like a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But downgraded for they had a yard called over 40. They had a yard called over 50 and over 40. So we goes in over 40 yards. So I happened to see him one night. And I'm like, yo, come here, man. I said, listen, you ain't got to duck me, man. I said, whatever go on between you and her, that's y'all business. She married you, she gave you kids. She must got some kind of love for you, but I think it's a crazy love, but okay, she loves you. But, you ain't got to never worry about, me and you, we go from young boy. Because remember I told you I went up the Heights for, what's the name, right? Well, we was all together up the Youth Study Center. I get a break, go up the Heights. He get life.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
that was my man. But yeah. So now you understand why the chicks love the lifers now?
I mean, I hear you.
See, they got to worry about Omar. They got to worry about the chicks trying to come at Omar. They ain't got to worry about the lifers doing that.
But the funny thing is, I mean, I ain't trying to expose nobody, right? But we know that the lifers be having like 4, 5, 6 Johns writing them at the prison and
Yeah, but
sending them
you only
money.
can get one visit at a time.
Yeah, well,
Especially,
but I'm just
if you put
saying.
that ring on there, it's over. It's over. Listen, I had to leave the chick alone because when I went down Greenwich for, she would come see me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I come out to visit. They had a little staging area where all the female officers hung out at.
Mm-hmm.
And they would say smart stuff like, you ain't gonna keep on seeing that white bee and all that, you know what I mean? Yeah, crazy. But I wouldn't pay him no attention because y'all wasn't doing for me what she was doing for me. So I'm not worried about y'all. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not gonna leave the known for the unknown.
Right.
So, but I had to leave her alone because they egged her car and slashed her tires.
The guards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they knew she was a former guard, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Because she was white. Because she
Yeah.
was white, they egged her car and slashed the tires, bro.
Well, I know Greaterford had, I used to come up there.
Okay.
I had to bring people back.
Right, true that.
So I know they had that big thing where a lot of female guards is popping up pregnant.
Listen, man. Listen. See, now the joint I had, right? I told her from the rip, I'm never going in between your legs. I go behind and I go in your mouth. I'm never going in between your legs because I'm not, and we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it go down.
Yeah,
It go down. But you
well,
gotta be, listen, you got like I told you I did my time, I was mad. And at the time, bro, I'm like 265 solid. You know what I mean? So, you know, the chicks was just crazy. You hear me?
yeah.
They be, listen, they come to that jail for a reason, bro. They be
Now
running.
my old head got life upgraded for
Yeah. What's his name?
Sunni Ali.
I know Sunni.
Yeah.
Hey, I know Sunni.
We used to
Yeah.
go to school. We used to
Yeah.
go to the same school, but he was a little older than me.
Right, right. Yeah, I was giving hold up, but oh yeah, right. Cause ain't wasn't his mom Maddie something?
I
What's
know,
his
but it was over his sister Tamara.
that was his mom name?
No, his sister.
No,
That's why
his mom though? Wasn't she like a radio personality or something?
oh man, I don't know, man. You talking about early 70s, man.
Yeah. Yeah, his mom was Maddie Humphrey, I think.
I don't even know. You talking about early 70s.
But Sony been down a long time.
Yeah, he used to have a newsstand in Broad County.
Yeah, but whoa, how long he been down now though?
Over 30 years.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I know Sony. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I got to see him. I got to see him one day. So
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, one day tell him where his ass is. He know who I am.
I was working, so that's the only reason I said.
Okay.
I told one of the boys, I said, "Go get Sunni for me. Tell him to come down so I can talk to him." You know.
Right.
But yeah, that was talking about early 70s, man.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
been.
Yeah, I'm telling you, his mom was a radio personality. She used to have a talk show, on WHAT.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember. Well, listen, man. Any
Yeah,
questions?
we got to do another a part 2 or something, man. You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you holler at the young boy when you get some time.
Yeah, I'm in.
You know, finish telling you stuff and figure out, you know, what your plan is, how we can support your work and all of that other stuff. And I
told you I was trying to contact Jeff Brown. I don't know what the heck's going on. They took my information, but I ain't hear nothing. So
yeah, maybe I'll hit him up on Instagram and send him a link to this.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Whatever.
And but definitely, you know, hopefully some people will see this and see what kind of how you can help their program or help you start a program. And get you to put a group of men together to start actually, because you can't leave it in the hands of the politicians.
Oh no.
The politicians can facilitate certain things, but you can't leave it in the hands of the politicians.
You gotta tell me.
All right.
Politicians was the one that crushed me for 39 years. You know what I mean? You know you ain't got to tell me.
Yeah, you went in during the Rizzo.
Well, actually, he had just left. Wilson Good took over, but Rizzo residue was still there.
He wasn't a police chief at the time?
He might have. I don't know. I can't even remember. He might have been. No, he might have. Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was somewhere. I can't remember.
He was around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was around. But I mean, I grew up under him though. So you know, they used to give us our package. You know that?
They used to give you your pay?
They used to give us our package.
Yeah.
We used to sling for that joke.
Yeah.
Cut him off.
And anyway.
Yeah.
We'll make a part 2 about that.
Right. No doubt.
How dirty cops was back then, but
dirty. What?
You know. You brought up Mumia. I heard, you know, I heard some stories about that situation too.
Yeah.
How they slumped his brother and dumped him behind Germantown Hospital.
Yeah, yeah, see, Lumiere real name is Cook, Wesley Cook, right?
Hmm.
And it's the Cook brothers. You know what I mean? It was a bunch of them. You know what
Right.
I mean? And but Mumia, I mean, he changed his name legally, you know. But I remember when he was Big West. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, I know him. He really from Wallace Street for real. But that's it's all one neighborhood. But anyway, listen, you give me a call, man. We do this because they was trying to get me to do overtime today, right? And I was like, nah, I got something to take care of. I ain't doing the overtime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's one thing about my job. They ain't got no problem asking you to do overtime. But whenever you set something up, I'm gonna make some time for you, bro, because I think it's important. I don't know who's listening, how many people listening, and what. I
I'm
don't know the setup.
I'm gonna give you the link so you can start sending it out to people, but and try to make people send it out, get it out there. But
Oh yeah.
this is your story, and you know we appreciate the people coming
Oh, matter of fact, hold up though. Your phone, you got your phone handy?
yeah,
Well, hold up for a minute. I'm gonna send you something.
we gonna do that offline.
Okay, all right.
But we appreciate.
Hold on, I gotta put you. Hold on, I gotta.
Hold on, I ain't gonna hang up. I'm gonna end this live though.
Yeah,
We
I gotta.
appreciate the people coming in today to take a look at the life of.
How long? Do you do this by yourself or you got assistants with
Yeah,
you?
it's just by myself.
Where'd you learn this?
Hey man, YouTube.
True that. You learn everything on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, then let me tell you what my problem is, though. I'm gonna tell you the biggest problem I had since I've been home. What would you guess it could be?
Adjusting to what technology? What?
Nope. The biggest problem I had since I've
Uh,
been
uh, that schedule?
time management.
Yeah, yeah.
Time management, bro.
Been on lockdown for 39 years. It's hard to.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I wake up today, it's Monday, tomorrow, it's Friday, bro. It be unbelievable. Unbelievable. But look, I wanna yeah, I do it offline. I'm gonna send you something offline though, bro. I'm gonna get ready to let you go. Let you do
No,
some
hold up. We just going to end this recording.
uh,
So we appreciate everybody coming to another episode of Philly Overhead Review. I know it's been a little while. I've been very, very busy with a couple of businesses of mine and also with school. But I had to get this interview up. And hopefully we can do another time with Mr. Mark Wiz Robinson. And hopefully we can get him out there to help the youth. And until next time, signing off. This is Philly Overhead Review.
yeah, that's real powerful what you doing, bro.
Yeah, hold on. We're going